some faces that haven't seen in a while. And tonight we have the Johnsons, who are coming before us for the second time. They came before the DRC last year to present some new homes they want to build on Cabanne, and we reviewed that project. We liked their overall vision, but had a few comments in terms of the architecture and site plans that we asked them to see if they could revise. So hopefully you all reviewed that, and I'm sure we'll go into a little bit more detail as we go through the presentation here tonight. But we're happy that they have been stuck with us through this process, through my poor communication skills, and they're with us here tonight to present their updated plans with the committee and neighborhood. So with that, I'll let the Johnsons take it away.
Okay. Thank you for having us. It's a long time coming, so I think, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can everyone? Thank you for having us, and long time coming, and hopefully the changes will suit everybody, and then also the plans. You know, we upgraded one of the things. They wanted variations of the building, so one of the things they wanted us to do so many at a time, so we got 4 elevations. I'm going to try to share. I am I'm not techie at all. So hopefully I can do this where everybody can see. One second.
We see that.
Okay. You can see it. Probably a whole bunch of other stuff on the screen. Some of the changes from the original plan, we initially had a front garage. We just closed off. We kept the interior the same, and we detached the garage, and we moved it to the back, so it'll be a back entry garage. So here's the front here. So we moved the garage from the front with the side drive. We did it detached, but it's still an option to be attached. We did kind of the sidewalk to the house, which was one of the requests. You can see that. It can be a side entry garage attached on the back, either or. It's the buyer's option. We have, here's one of the elevations that we chose, just a simple wide porch, all the 9-foot ceilings. We're doing all brick on the front now versus before we had some siding. This particular one has dormers. Let me see if this is the right. I'm sorry, I got another, 1 second, we have another plan. I apologize for not bringing. I'm sorry. I would have been better prepared. I didn't think that but I should have known better.
Why don't we, since it's been a while, if you don't mind, give us a little overview on, I guess, the very basics. So how many houses are you wanting to build? Go talk about a little bit about the phasing. If I remember correctly, you all wanted to use, was it some prefab units or a different type of construction?
There's 7 lots. Initially we want to start with 4. we want to start with 4. We still want to use the modular construction. The corner lot for the second phase, what we want to do is maybe we haven't did the design on those yet, but because we wanted some input because it's a much bigger lot. So those houses were kind of drowning in it. So we were thinking maybe a Cape Cod, or maybe attach some sort of attached villas or something, townhomes or row houses. Like the corner lot is like 73 wide. And before we got too involved in it, we wanted to get your input. But initially, it's 4 lots that we want to start on. Probably if we get everything approved, start breaking ground the first of the year.
And that includes our own personal home on the block also.
Very nice. And were you wanting to do your own construction, or are you hiring a contractor to do the building?
We would do. We used Sylvester as a master plumber. We built before. We've done mini rehab. So a lot of it we project manage it, and we do use stuff. The thing about modular construction, it comes in about 85% done.
So we're going to general contract it and use subcontractors in order to do the things like electrical, HVAC, HVAC, electrical, some of the other components. But majority of the house will be built when it's brought in. Typically with the modular construction, about 70 to 80% of it is already completed when it comes out of the factory.
Very cool.
Where are they being built?
Excuse me?
Where are they being built? What factory? What city?
Indiana.
Please don't tell me Goshen.
Say it again.
I said, please don't tell me Goshen, Indiana.
No, Rochester. I'm not sure Goshen. No, Rochester,
Okay.
Indiana.
The reason why I said Goshen because we have companies that are building prefab houses. It was sundown towns. And I would think that we want to make sure that they are not affiliated with a sundown town or any factory that was building out of those towns.
No, sir, they are not. It's Rochester, Indiana. It's a well-established company. They've been around a long time. They turn out a very good product. We've done all our research on them. We've gone down there. We've met with the owners and met with the representatives and toured the factory many times. And we've actually started working with them as my wife's working with them as a dealer also for other investors and other builders here in the St. Louis area.
Because you have to be licensed to do modular construction, and we are licensed.
I'm going to bring up those plans again real quick, if you don't mind, and just to talk about.
This is Nathan, if I might ask a question. Does the company that I don't really understand the modular construction aspect, but is there a company name that is fabricating this and that would bring it in and put it together?
Yes. The way modular works, and Sylvester probably can explain it better to me, it's stick built. It's considered a regular house. It's just a means of building. You can get an FHA loan, conventional. Once it's on foundation, it's a house.
The biggest difference in modular construction, it's the same construction that's being built on site. The only difference is it's being built off site in a climate controlled environment. So say for instance, there's a day where the trades are building a house on site and it starts to rain or it starts to snow. Typically with modular construction, everything is built inside of a factory where there's climate control, where there's no off times, no off days, where it's, because it's raining or because it's snowing or because it's too cold, any of those things. And then also, labor is a lot more proficient because these guys have scheduled breaks, they have scheduled lunches, and the assembly is always being done. It's always in the process. So even out on the job sites where you've got union carpenters on a job site, and or union or non-union, I'm not going to get into union because I've been in the union, where guys are on the job site, everything inside the factory is very, very strategic, very organized, very, it's done in a way where it's very efficient, where the assembly line is moving and each skilled trade is actually doing their part on that assembly line and building the house. The house is not being built any different, same components, same materials, everything's the same. The only difference is it's being built in a climate controlled environment, and everything is moving a lot more efficiently in order to be built rather than out on the job site.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. And then the company that builds it in the facility, are they the ones who put it together on the job site?
No, yes, they do have a set crew that comes out, and once those modules get to the site, the crane is set up, the crane stacks the modules together, and then that set crew bolts everything together, ties everything together, and then the subs take it from there and complete the final stages of it.
Like the brickwork and the
Yes, sir.
the electric. Okay, I got you. And what is the name of the company? What's the name of the company that you're using for this modular construction?
For this plan, we're using Rochester. The company is called Rochester. They're in Rochester, Indiana.
I got you. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's inspected through the state. So that's why we have to be licensed. So in the factory, the electric, the plumbing, the HVAC, the framing is all inspected through the state. So it's state inspected. So when we get our permits for the city, so it's double inspected. It's inspected through the city, the foundation, the site work stuff,
sewer, water,
all of that.
Everything is inspected on site. But when it's being built in the factory, they have an independent inspector that actually goes through the state of Missouri, and he inspects it as it's being built in the factory also.
Okay, very good. Thank you. What are the addresses of the 4 lots that you want to start on?
It's 5769 is one of them. 5719 is 50.
Ours would be 5713.
13. We wanted
Our personal house would be 5713.
And then 57. So looking at the pictures, it's pretty much on the Cabanne side. It's the 4 lots that are next to each other. So it's pinpointed at 5713. 5679 is the first one, 5703, 5713, and 5719.
Okay, thank you. And when you talk about, you mentioned corner lots, what are the addresses of the corner lots you were referring to?
Well, it's 5741 is the corner lot. So
okay.
That's the one we're trying to we've been going back and forth. It actually has 2 addresses. It used to be an apartment building. And so it was 5741 Cabanne, and I believe it's 910 Goodfellow. So it has 2 addresses because it used to be an apartment building.
Okay.
And so we were trying to, one of the things we were thinking about doing, because it's not really an apartment building, but we were thinking maybe a couple of townhouses, and then maybe, whether we turn it towards Page or turn it towards, not Page, I'm sorry, Goodfellow Academy. We were thinking of maybe doing maybe 2 attached homes or some sort of, villa type or row houses or something. And then maybe we were even thinking about putting our office like, because a lot is big enough to split up, and doing on the back end of the lot, doing maybe an office or a community space or something where we have computers or access or something. So that lot has been kind of, we're not sure because of the size and the location. Because I don't, you know, right on Woodstock.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So looking at the site plan that you guys included, I only see three. So is the fourth, would you actually be doing the fourth? This is 4 lots in a row here, correct? So you'd be doing all 4 of those.
Right. The three, well, let's say the fourth one would be ours. One, we wanted to have a discussion on the plan because we really want a Cape Cod type house where we have a master on the first floor. Something different than just the 2-story. You know, and we wasn't sure how the committee, so we didn't invest in it because we wasn't sure how the committee would be open to doing a Cape Cod. And the Cape Cod, it would have a 12-12 pitch, so it'd be as tall as the buildings, you know. But it was just one of those things, we need to have a discussion first to see if it's even an option for us.
So that would be this empty lot right here that you're talking about. Got it.
Right.
All right. Well, let's start with these 3 first, and then we can get into that. So I want to sort of review the changes that you made for these 3 homes that differ from your original submission. I keep exiting out of that. Let me make that larger. So I think the main thing was before you had been showing those garages sort of attached on the front corner. And so that has now been moved to the back. And I understand that they could also potentially have that attached on the back side, but the back side is what's important. So I think that's a good change. This 50-foot building line here, is that in line with these current buildings right here? Because I think this one is a little hard to tell. That might be a little closer. But is that currently the same building line as these 2 buildings on the street?
I think that would be the setback from the house to the right. So that's the one single house on the end.
Yeah.
So that 50-foot line would be the setback, which would line up with the front of that house on the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it would line up with this one. Okay. And then we asked for the front walks up to the sidewalk, which I see that you guys included in this plan. We won't get into the floor plans too much. Elevations. So walk us through here on materials that we're seeing on these different elevations.
So the material would be just a brick on the front with a shed style roof on the porch, the different columns, 4x4 columns, and then some details in the railing, and the windows and the dormer on top. So the front will be all brick. And there will be different variations of brick depending on as far as the front elevation. So all the houses wouldn't be exactly the same brick.
Okay. And then on the rear and sides of the building, what is this siding material?
Well, we were going to do the Dutch lap vinyl siding. We did look into the Owens Corning hardy siding. It's just way too expensive for our budget. We just wouldn't be able to build those houses at a affordable price that would work for us if we did something like the Owens Corning or the hardy board siding. So as far as the siding is concerned, we would have to go with vinyl.
Okay, and then the other comment I think we had was the overall height of the floor to floor heights on these buildings. So what are those currently?
Do we have anything with the
We
elevations?
didn't really,
Height?
yeah, we didn't really change anything. There were 9-foot ceilings on first and second floor. So we kept those. I don't remember that was one
I'm
of
sorry,
the
you
things.
said 9-foot ceilings?
Yes,
Yes.
on the first and second floor.
Okay, and then do you know what this sort of step up from grade up to that porch is there?
That's about 4.5 feet, 5 feet.
Looks like about 6 steps.
Yep. So let me see if I have the old
Maybe 4 foot.
elevations. This is, sorry, this is rotated, so. Looks like you might have increased it a little bit. See if I can rotate that. Rotate, no, where to go? Sorry, now I'm having technical difficulties. So 9.9, that's about,
Looks like 3'8" and.
And a half. It's 8.5.
so that
About 4
does, I think we had asked for sort of 24
That looks
feet
like a,
to that roof line, so that'd be, 10 foot, 10 plus 9. That's almost 20 feet. So that's pretty close to 24, which would be in line with the historic proportions of the existing buildings.
And so can you repeat that? What's the height supposed to be?
Well, so for some of our past developers that have come, we've asked them to maintain a 24 feet from sort of from grade to the roof line, the roof ridge, or not ridge, eave.
Okay. We're trying to, because that's why we're doing 9 foot on both floors.
Yep.
Um,
And then I see that you've incorporated the 4-foot brick returns on the side as well, which is good to see. Okay, well, I don't have very many comments on these proposed building. My one sort of architectural note would be that it looks a little funky not to have the door centered on this stair right here. So maybe there's a way to scooch that stair and sidewalk over to be aligned with the door. But other than that, I think that you all have answered the asks of the committee from the previous presentation. So are there other committee members that have questions or concerns about these 3 houses?
I have concern about the columns. Did I hear Mr. Johnson say 4x4 columns? 4 inches by 4 inches? It's a post, well, a column is a post, but those are posts. And I'm wondering what with our homes, what we're trying to instill in everybody is that we want to maintain as much of the character as possible. And I don't recall 4x4 columns on any porches that was built in the last century here. And that's not a big issue. Is that the fact is that you might want to consider increasing the size of those.
I can agree with that. So we used the house that we built on the opposite side of Delmar that we live in now. We built this house. It was modular, went very well. We used 4x4 columns, and then we wrapped them with 1.5 PVC PVC boards, and it actually fattened up the columns and made it look really clean and neat. So, I mean, we don't necessarily have to use 4x4 columns. Personally, I think that if we beef them up a little bit, we can make them bigger. We can change that dynamic of the front elevation. That's not a hard thing to do, and we'd be open to that.
This is Nathan again. I just want to say I appreciate that you guys came back to the committee and listened to what we asked of you a little over a year ago and seemed to be very interested in working with us. And so I really appreciate that. And I wanted to get that said. I meant to say that before I started talking there a few minutes ago. So thank you for that. I had a question about this porch as well. Will the railing, is that going to be wood? Or will that be metal, or what were your plans there?
We were thinking metal.
Okay.
You have an idea? I think metal would be better.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And then I had a question about just some of the interior space as far as the, finishing it out on the interior. Would the first floor be hardwood floor, or what's the plan for the flooring? What's the plan for the countertops? Some of those finished items on the interior. Can you provide us any detail about that?
The flooring, I think we're looking, because now the new thing is the vinyl plank flooring, the luxury vinyl.
Right.
That's kind of been a big thing right now. A basic hardwood, for in carpets in bedrooms. The countertops, we have someone that works with us that kind of does design. So we may, whatever it's like base trim, those are going to be the tall base trim, because we want to mimic the old houses. So tall base trim, we kind of like those panel, 5 or 6 panel doors that kind of mimic the old houses. But they're the new style, things like that. The options will, we may do one with a nice Formica countertop. We may do one, I kind of like the quarters right now. So we, it may be variations, because none of them are going to be the same,
And is that because you have in mind that as you build these and perhaps get them sold before they're finished, you would allow the buyer to choose some of that and kind of add options to it? For example, if somebody wanted a granite countertop, you would accommodate that, maybe with extra cost or whatever it would be?
I'm a realtor by trade, so absolutely we're going to pre-sale. We're going, in some of the other lots, one of the things we're set. There's like if somebody wants it a little more custom, we're going to get basic options. FHA has a construction loan. One time closed, so if somebody wants one of the lots and they want them really more custom as far as colors and stuff, that's a complete option for them, that they can apply for a FHA construction loan, and we'll build it to their custom. So if they want blue carpet in the bedroom, that'll be their choice. So we are going to give them options, and we are going to really, once we get the permits and stuff, we're going to really hit it to pre-sale. We have 4 agents that work for us, and they're ready to sell.
One last question. We are all concerned about energy conservation. We're talking about natural light. Well, the new guidelines coming out, especially with COVID, the fact is that we're going to have to do this whether we like it or not. The point is, I'm looking at a set of stairs, and there's no natural light unless it's on the 2nd floor. And I'm looking at the kitchen side. I don't see a single window over there. It's the fact is that people are trying to protect themselves against SAD, and they know now that natural light, will prevent a lot of things that are happening to people. Windows. Windows are important. And for instance, that elevation there, and I think I saw another elevation where I only saw one window. Roll the one at the top and see what the left side elevation, what is
Yeah,
that?
it's unfortunately cut off, so I can't scroll up.
Mhm.
Okay.
But anyway, those are just suggestions.
And a lot of it is still option. One of the things we like, we try to, like the front, we have two, one for the dining room, which is actually a large, it'll be a nice sized window. There's one next to the dining room, which is also behind the dining room is there's a lot, that's the laundry area and a half bath. There's a window there. There's the patio door with the double doors that has a lot of light. We have a light over the kitchen, not a light, a window over the kitchen sink, and then two in the living area. I believe we have windows in both the bathrooms upstairs, and all the bedrooms do have windows.
The buyers do have the option to add additional windows if that's what they choose, and we can accommodate that.
Yeah, Sylvester's a little more in tune to making sure there's light.
Me personally, I like a lot of windows. I like a lot of light, but obviously on a development like this, we have to kind of watch the budget. We have to make sure that we're cost conscious of what we can spend and how we build these without blowing the budget out of water and making it cost effective in order to get these built.
And buyers.
Well, that's a good idea, but when we're talking about generational houses, I doubt very seriously in the next 50 years, we're going to see starter houses. I just don't have that much faith in the economy now. So you're talking about someone living there 25 to probably 50 years, one way or the other. And if that's going to happen, we need to be conscious of those things. Like, for instance, the powder room. You're going to have to turn a light on every time you go in there. But these are small items that you can probably just sort of fix if that gets to be an issue.
Okay. And like I said, we're open
and
to.
we can add a window in the powder room. I could see a rectangular window up high in the powder room where it brings in natural light. That's not that big of a deal. We can actually do that. So we're not opposed to that.
We put the windows, we made sure there was windows in key places. Like I said, over the kitchen sink, there's two in the living room. One in the laundry room. Since that originally was a mud room and now it's just a laundry room, we still made sure there was a window there. Just for the light. So we're in tune. So it's like I said, as we go along, somebody wants one, we have a buyer that's free, they want to add stuff. In the midst of this, we may add another window just because it's not completely finalized.
Yeah.
While we're here for opinion.
Let me give you a history about the window of the kitchen sink. It's nothing to do with your plan, except for the fact this is something that I learned from Sumeracs of people in Los Angeles and Cleveland, Ohio, who actually design kitchen. The whole idea of the window over the kitchen sink was when women supposed to stay at home and watch children. And while she was washing dishes, children was playing in the backyard, and so she could keep her eye on them. And that's the only reason why they have a window over the kitchen sink.
And as a mother, I have watched my children play in the backyard as I wash dishes. But I also looked at gardens and just the light. Something to do instead of staring at a blank wall.
I personally like to watch squirrels out the window in the morning.
You'll have plenty of those in this neighborhood, I can assure you.
It is. And we have a squirrel whisperer. Our son loves animals and they just flop. So he likes the squirrels, the raccoons, and the rabbits.
Hey, Sylvester and Jean, what's your price point for these houses? What do you, assuming just sort of your base model and no added customization to it, what's your price point you're hoping to hit?
It's increased a lot since with the material cost. So right now, a base is probably going to be about $350. One of the things we also wanted to talk about is possibly, the CDA has some money available for gap funding. So we were thinking about applying this month. We kind of started it, but I believe we also need support from the community if we do apply for it.
And if CDA is involved, windows are going to be a must. And if CDA is involved, if we continue to go forward with our changes, you're going to have to consider putting a basement egress.
Well, it has been.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to put that basement egress.
Okay.
Yeah, it has been. It's one on the plan.
Not that window. You have to
It's
have,
egress.
you have to have stairs out and up.
Yes, sir.
And the deal is that in case if there's a fire above the floor, some people take that window and they put locks on them. And a youngster, a little kid, an older person would probably never get out of there. So we're talking about now pushing it so we have egress outside. And you probably have room in your elevation and you certainly have high enough stairs that you could probably do that without that much of an issue. Just pop a door.
Yeah.
In a landing.
And we're good with the changes. We want people to be able to afford it with the cost of materials and things going up. And, we know that's an option. I think in the midst of it, we'll have some, we're hoping to have some with CDA funding and some without, because community with different income is always good.
Great. Well, does anyone have any further questions or comments on these three houses? And I don't know if you guys have anything in particular you want to show in regards to your own house, or if you just had some initial questions for us on that at this point.
Let me see. Well, I could pull up a picture. Initially, it was just questions. We were like with the corner lots, because we want to start planning on for the rest of the lots. With our house, let me see if I can pull up a picture. A Cape Cod. One second, let me pull one up. We want a first floor master. We were trying to get it. I don't know if, are you familiar with the Cape Cod style?
Yes.
Okay, let me. Okay. Of course. Let me see it anymore. Let's see. And we wanted. Okay. Okay, I'm getting ready to share. And these are just some plans we've been looking at online. Let me share screen. This one in particular, with the higher pitch, We can maybe make it higher, just something where the master's on the first floor. There are some houses in the, you know, I know on the other side that have the Cape tile with the high pitched roof with, where the porch hits the roof. You know.
Yeah. So when you say you want your master on the first floor, are you talking about having everything be a single story house, or it would still be 2 stories? You just reconfigure it so that the master is on the first floor?
Yeah, we have teenagers and they'd be upstairs. We want a master on the first, and I have my mother is 78 and she comes and stays and so we want to have a room for her on the first floor. So really 2 bedrooms on the first floor and 2 bedrooms upstairs for the kids.
So the majority of the square footage of the house would be on the first floor, but there would be living space above on the second floor?
You know,
Yeah.
We were thinking about 2,500 square feet and maybe 1,600 upstairs. You know.
So there are a variety of different roof styles and pitches in the neighborhood. So I would think the major concern probably would be keeping a similar height overall, at least for a portion of the building, as the other buildings on the block. And there would still be probably some similar concerns in terms of the materials on the facades, but in terms of different architectural styles, as long as it's you know, quality materials and, you know, good detailing, I don't think this committee necessarily wants it, and probably prefers to have a little different looking houses down the street. So I think it's something that we would probably be open to, but we would need to see a more specific drawing or elevation for exactly what you want before we'd be able to make any specific recommendations or give any comments on that.
Okay, as long as you're open, we can move forward with the plan. You know, and so the height of the building, you said about 20 feet, or just in line with the other 3 buildings.
Right.
We may have that, and there's an option. There's a lot across the street that's a nice size too, and so that might be an option for somebody. Any thoughts about the lots on the lots that's also on Goodfellow? You know, as far as what's your thoughts about maybe doing townhomes, or you think, like I said, we were thinking maybe 2 attached townhomes, and then even since the lot is big, then and it has 2 addresses, the 2 facing Cabanne, and then I think it's 910 Goodfellow. Maybe we was actually thinking about doing either a sales office or a real estate office or something there, but also maybe something with the community aspect inside, where there's computers and stuff for the block. You know, are you thinking that you just should be home? You know, any thoughts?
No, I think that corner lot offers an opportunity for you to maybe explore doing something a little different. The cool thing about these properties is that they back up onto what will be the future Hodiamont Greenway. And so being a corner lot right there, Goodfellow and Cabanne, I think you could maybe do something cool if you did have a little office there right at the corner of the Greenway that would be inviting for people as they traverse the Greenway through the neighborhood. But we'd probably be interested in seeing something substantial on that corner. So your idea of filling it out with townhomes, I think we'd be interested in seeing what you propose there.
Okay.
But again, until we see something and and have a little bit more detail. But I think concept wise, we've certainly considered townhomes for other lots in the past.
Okay.
We've considered apartment buildings, smaller apartment buildings. So
Okay.
we'll leave it up to you. to you to propose something and bring it to us.
Okay, well, we wanted to make sure you were open to it, so we kind of got a feel of what you're looking for. So look for that sooner than later. Sooner than later.
All right.
So the thoughts in about the CBA, as far as I believe we need support from the neighborhood. Never done the process before. Are you familiar with it, or is it? Do we go through the committee with you, or do we go through another source? And also, we want to do the application for a tax abatement for the plans that we're starting.
Well, if you decide to go through that process, then there isn't a separate sort of review process for tax abatement or CBA. You'd just get a support letter from us, which you then be able to share with the alderperson for the tax abatement, or with CBA as you seek, potential gap funding from them. And CBA, like Irv says, probably would have some of their own requirements that are not attached to what we necessarily talked about in these meetings, since that's its own city agency with their own requirements if they give you money. But you'd be able to use the support letter saying the neighborhood supports the project in that application process, if you decided to go that route.
So how do we get a support letter? Because it's the proposals due the end of the month. We're working on what they're requiring, and one of them is the support letter. So how do we go through that process?
So after you guys sign off tonight, we'll continue talking for a little bit and vote on the changes to your proposal. And if a majority of the committee votes in favor of that, then we will write and send you a support letter within the next couple of days.
Okay.
So does anyone on the committee have any further questions for the Johnsons before we let them go?
Before they go, if they're looking for examples for townhomes, they probably want to look at Persian, at the corner of Persian and Taylor. Look on the south side of the street, just drive by. You might get some ideas to what you won't have any problem getting through. Persian and Taylor, the Central West End, just a couple of blocks north of Lindell. It's a private street, and the gate may be locked on one end, but if one gate is locked, the other one will be open.
Okay. I will do that. We will do that.
Do you have any further questions for us or the committee?
Questions?
No.
No, we don't.
Great. Well, like we've all said, and we really appreciate you bringing this and presenting to the neighborhood and gathering feedback. We love to see local developers like you investing in the neighborhood, and hope that you continue to do so, and that the quality and quantity of your projects just keep going up after each successful one. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for coming.
All right, we'll be in contact soon. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.